to El Cajon Valley High School. This is a school where I teach high school algebra. This school was built in 1955, 60 years ago, and not a whole lot has changed since then. I mean, there's some new, probably fresh coats of paint, that have been painted over the years, especially as students have graffitied on the wall. Actually, I can see some painted over graffiti right there. So maybe some new buildings on campus here and there, some new technologies that are put into the classroom. But for the most part, this place hasn't changed. And even the way we teach hasn't changed. We still teach from standards and from textbooks. The thing is, it's not necessarily bad that we're teaching the same thing, but the question is, how are we actually teaching it to the kids? How are we presenting it? What type of skills are we teaching them? My biggest concern is, how do the students leave this school? Are they prepared for college? Which is important, of course. I want my kids to go to college. But are they prepared for life? Because if they're not prepared for life, then what good is it me spending all this time teaching them all these things? Now let's take a quick trip into my classroom and take a look. Alright, so if you kind of take a look around here, you'll notice that I don't have the traditional rows and columns. All my students are grouped into groups of 4. The idea behind that is that, one, I want them to work together. 2, I want them to interact with each other socially, obviously in a productive way, hopefully. Obviously that's not true all the time. But the third thing is that at the end of the day, I want them to actually create something. And I want them to create something not just for themselves, but for others to see. And that's the idea behind presentation, is that you don't just create something just to benefit yourself, you create something to benefit others. And that's what our students need, is skills in how do I present that? Because that's a nerve-wracking thing to do, is create a presentation and deliver it. And how can I do that in an effective and engaging way that people actually care? Because as a teenager, that's a hard thing to overcome. And it's something that you don't just overcome right away. Even as adults, we fear it.
Now, I'm a teacher who loves technology. I love to be able to use it in my classroom. I love to just use it to make my life easier, make my students' lives a little easier. Less paperwork, more ability to assess the kids in a quicker, more efficient way, in a real-time way, where I'm actually seeing right at that instant, how are they really doing? I'm a math teacher. I want to know, do they know how to be able to solve a problem? Or why would we use it? But I think the real question is, why not? Why wouldn't we use that? I mean, in today, in our society, it's required to be able to present. And technology offers so much more opportunity for us as teachers, and for them and for our students in business, education, in different institutions, in nonprofit, entrepreneurship. All these things require one key thing: innovation. They require us to come up with new ideas to solve problems in order to keep moving forward and be able to sustain. But in order to spark innovation, you have to spread ideas amongst everybody, and you have to present those ideas to an audience. And that's where this presentation skills come in, and why they're so important for our kids, for our students' future. I mean, Forbes and Magazine and Prezi, who's an online presentation software that I'm sure some of us have all used at some point, they got together and did a study. What they found is that 70% of employees agree presentation skills are important. Another interesting stat is that 20% said they would do anything to avoid it. Now, if 20% said they would do anything to avoid it, just imagine how many more than that are saying to themselves, I'll do it, but I'm not very confident in it. And I don't know if this is really worth it, okay? And out of that study, they also found that 46% want to actually get better at it. About 50%, half of the people said, hey, I'm not really confident in this. I know I can get better, but I just don't have the skills. And this is a great opportunity for us, is to push our kids and to have those abilities early on. And how can we do that? Well, using technology. Prezi, PowerPoint, YouTube, Edpuzzle, which I love Edpuzzle. A great way to interact with actual media and videos. Powtoon, a way to present something in an engaging way. You know, you kind of make something animated, and it's really fun, I think, for the kids. Google Hangouts and Slides. And part of the big reason I mentioned this one is I'm actually doing this presentation right now through Google Slides and Google Hangouts. So what's kind of cool about this is that I'm actually on my phone right now, and I'm speaking through the phone. I've got the Google Slides going, and it's basically going through a meeting via Google Hangouts. And what's cool about this is I could be on the other side of the world right now. I could be in, I don't know, Bangladesh, and I could be doing this presentation for you right now. And that's the kind of the cool thing about this is it expands the audience. You know, my dream is to give my kids opportunities to really speak to real audiences in the future. And this is just one of those small things you can do. Join me, Adobe Connect, more business-related platforms, Spark, Kahoot, which is one of my personal favorites. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more.
All right, back in the classroom again. Well, it's the middle of the night, all here by myself, no students. This is what I do every day. I come here in the middle of the night and I dream. No, I go home at the end of the day. And I hope you do too. Okay, now, here's one of my all-time favorite things to do in class. I do what I call, well, not what I call, what they call Kahoot. Now, Kahoot is this amazing online program, and maybe some of you guys have used it before, but it's a way to, it's basically like a game. It allows you to present questions. Kids are able to respond using their different types of technology. I'm going to use my computer, so I'm going to kind of like pretend I'm a student. So let's go ahead and show you how this works. So as a student, well, first as a teacher, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start it up. And every time I start this, my kids in my class start going, "Oh my gosh, it's Kahoot, woo!" They start putting their stuff away. I'm like, "No, don't put your stuff away. We still need it for class." And Kahoot has really kind of stepped up their game. They can do all kinds of things. I know it's kind of slow right now, but here I can embed a YouTube video just to kind of capture their attention and allow them, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, hey, it's time for Kahoot." I'll throw in like something that's interesting, like all my kids here love soccer. So I'll be putting soccer videos up there. So I got the code. I'm gonna put it in. So 353. I put up my name, and I always caution them, please be appropriate with your names. I can of course delete it, which is really nice. Okay, and any minute, oh, there's my name, one player. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is it's going to present me a question, and there's always some little intense music in the background as we get started, as you can hear it. And the kids go, "Oh, which one is it? And they're like, "Oh, it's red, it's red, it's red." And it's cool, this part, you know, they're helping each other. It gets noisy, but honestly, it's a good, productive noise. It's not the messing around, chatting type of noise. So I'll go ahead and answer, "Oh, I think it's red. Yeah. And, oh man, I got it wrong. Oh." And then it shows me exactly how many kids got it right, how many kids got it wrong. And then this gives me an opportunity to be like, "Hey, guys. Okay, domain is the set of blah, blah, blah." So it's a great way to not only review, but what I've started to do is I do something what's called blind Kahoot, where I actually introduce the topic and we take notes as we do the Kahoot. Kids really like that. It's an engaging way to really keep them engaged in notes, because note taking is sometimes the hardest thing to do as a teacher and keep the kids really engaged. So this is a great way to do that.
Now here's an example of students in a classroom who are playing Kahoot. They're waiting for their answer, trying to wait to see did they get it right or not. Waiting for it, wait for it. Oh my gosh, what's my, oh. Everybody's all celebrating, so excited. pretty typical in my classroom. You see that all the time. Kids love Kahoot. Great way for them to interact and engage in class. Richard Mayer, who's a professor at Cambridge University, did a study and found that the attention for most people is the sharpest in the first 10 minutes. After that, people need opportunities to process information every 10 minutes. We can provide mixed and interactive presentation, which is going to allow our students to reinforce and connect the information we give them. Tech presentations such as Kahoot, Socrative, Quizzes, Pear Deck, and many others allow the students to interact in an engaging and fun way. But ultimately, I want to get them to gain these skills for their own use. We can give them opportunities to use this technology by creating their own presentation through small and large projects. Tech isn't the answer, but it shouldn't be everything we do. But it does give opportunities to enhance our abilities as teachers and the presenting skills for our students.
Hello, my name is Osborn, and I think this is going to be an awesome idea. Go Braves!